Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Joe and Joe Weather Show.
Joe and Joe Weather Show.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was my way of testing how much of a voice delay we have tonight. Uh, Joe Rayo,
Actually, it doesn't look like we have much of a day long.
no, we don't. I did something magical. I don't know what I did, and of course, as soon as I did that, it becomes unmagical. Good Lord! All right, well, you know what? Let's roll this thing. Okay, so it is Tuesday, mind you, the
The
16th.
16th of March.
Yes, it is. It's the 16th of March, and we've got a lot going on. Looks like we could have a fairly impressive severe weather outbreak to deal with tomorrow. Not too often that you see a moderate risk of severe weather. But that's what SPC has, and the Joe and Joe Weather Show brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware. But that's what SPC has, and the Joe and Joe Weather Show getting ready for spring. 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon. 631-756-1125 is the phone number, and the website is omnitruevalue.com with everything you need to get you through the spring and get your yard in order. And also brought to you by Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini at 162 Ocean Avenue in Lindenhurst. And their number is 631-957-5106. The website is liholidaylighting.com to meet all your decorating needs. And also, if this is a business you might want to get into, give them a call, 631-957-5106. So, yeah, I mean, we have this weak system here tonight that isn't really doing very much, and that's kind of playing according to plan. And the next one has a bit more bite to it, and I think we're going to wind up. I think we're going to see some pretty active thunderstorms and tornadoes tomorrow. 15% risk of tornadoes across the South, according to SPC.
Wow, that is pretty high for them. Yeah, and I want to just stress here that none of those severe weather outbreaks are expected to make their way up into our neck of the woods because, well, the atmosphere is going to be a little bit too stable and also noticeably too cold to support any of that. But that'll, if you can go, if you're into that sort of kind of weather, Joe, get in your car and travel down towards Southern Virginia and point south of there, and you'll probably be seeing quite a bit of that activity, if not tomorrow, certainly on Thursday.
Meanwhile, still trying to figure out whether Thursday night into Friday morning we wind up seeing a changeover to some snow before it ends, especially as you go north and west of the immediate coast. My view on it, Joe, is I suppose it'll probably happen in some inland areas. I just don't know whether there's going to be enough there to do anything of consequence. I was thinking off the top of my head that maybe there's an outside chance that somebody could wind up with a coating to maybe a slushy inch or two, especially if you want to drive it along the lines of elevation. But I just don't see it being anything more than that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have to. I maybe if everything were to fall into place, maybe somebody in the Hudson Valley north of 287, and of course I'm north of 287, might see about an inch or two. That might be stretching it. That would be for Friday morning. And even by Friday morning, it pretty well is going to be all over. And even if we were to get an inch or two, I wouldn't even think it'd be worth even trying to snow shovel it or broom it or whatever, because by the time we get to the afternoon, most of that should be pretty well gone. But it might be one last, well, I'm not going to say last, but it might be a nice little cheap thrill for those of you who are snow lovers, that you might be able to see something like that. And actually, Joe, to this afternoon and this evening, there were a few locally heavy snow showers that crossed north of me up toward Poughkeepsie and Kingston. My daughter, who's in the New Paltz area, said it's coming down now, and it's for real snow. When she said that, I expected that maybe it might actually be sticking or coating the ground in some place. Snow is all around now, and If you don't see it tonight, you'll maybe see it again late Thursday night or early Friday morning.
All right, so let's take a look at the Storm Prediction Center for tomorrow. We're going to also go to look at tonight, but I want to first look at tomorrow's view here. Just hang on a second here. I'm trying to. This is what happens when I can only maneuver one window at a time. So let's see if I can get this map up. There we go. So this is for tomorrow. And they upped this to a moderate risk in that area that you see from Arkansas, eastern Arkansas, northeast Louisiana. Much of the state of Mississippi is either in enhanced or in moderate, and all of Alabama is in either smaller area of enhanced, but the vast majority of the state in moderate. And the slight risk extends almost to me. So I actually had a thunderstorm here early this morning. And then the wind shifted to the northeast, and it's been clammy and cloudy and raining all day. A cold rain. I got a sweatshirt on. I had to turn the fireplace on today just to keep things a bit warm. But in all seriousness, this is going to be a pretty wild outbreak for tomorrow, I think, given the energy that's coming out of the southwest. Unlike what we just saw with the system. From Sunday, that low that came out of the south, the upper low, which basically just part of it went east and weakened. This one's going to hold together quite well. I've got the GFS up here. It's got that spiral look on the way it depicts the radar, and you see that sort of that hook that comes down on the east side of the low down into Louisiana. So that's how the GFS at least sees this. And the other thing, Joe, is there's going to be some thunderstorms tomorrow night into Thursday morning, crossing Alabama, Tennessee, and into northern Georgia. So there's going to be some nighttime severe weather going on in parts of the South from this particular low.
So, in addition to your family, take to the early morning thunder and lightning.
No, he was okay.
What did you just go? Oh!
No, we went out on the porch and we watched it, and he really didn't. He was good. Now he's sleeping here by my feet. Here's the upper low on the 700 millibar.
He always sleeps.
Yeah, I know he likes to. Unfortunately for him, because of all the rain today, we really couldn't go anywhere, so we were kind of stuck in the house playing catch in the family room. So he's kind of wiped out. So I'll give him I'll get a picture of him in a little bit. But in the meantime, look at this upper low, really wrapped up here that moves out of Oklahoma into southern Missouri. You have very strong Gulf inflow, and these jet streaks here are pretty impressive. 50 knot plus winds, 50 and 60 knot plus winds across parts of Mississippi and Alabama. Some of that's going to mix down. In the form of severe weather. And the upper low actually gets stronger during Wednesday night into Thursday morning, which is another reason why you want to see that you're going to see severe weather out of this. And by the way, we should also point out that the Storm Prediction Center for day 3, and this is for the period let me make sure I get this right now. This is for Thursday into Friday. They now have enhanced risk for most of Georgia, all of South Carolina, virtually all of South Carolina, and most of North Carolina, except the westernmost part of the state. And they've pushed the slight risk up into central Virginia, the marginal risk almost to the Delaware state line in the Delmarva Peninsula. But as you said, and by the way, they also even have a chance of general thunderstorms up to central New Jersey, believe it or not. So the SPC is looking at this and thinking, you know what, this is going to be problematic, even on the second time period when it goes into the southeastern part of the United States for Thursday and Thursday night. And by the way, there's the.
Yep, and it's not often that you, as you mentioned earlier, that you see moderate, and even on the 3-day, on day 3, to even see enhanced. and not just a small area of enhanced. There's a fairly, I mean, it covers virtually all of North and South Carolina and goes all the way down into Georgia. So yeah, some rock'em sock'em weather coming. It looks like down in your neck of the woods, Joe, for the next couple of days coming up.
In that moderate risk zone. That's pretty high. And a lot, even that's a lot of square miles we're talking about here for the tornado risk. And the strong wind, hang on, my tornado wind, there we go. The wind probability of winds of 50 knots or higher at 30%, covering that entire zone. And for hail, also showing a risk area of 30% or higher. So again, this is definitely impressive. Meanwhile, let's not forget tonight, because we do have some issues. So we'll go to the Storm Prediction Center's day one, which is tonight, into tomorrow morning, and you can see slight risk covering much of central and north Texas, northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, kind of reaching into Mississippi there in a small area, a small area of enhanced risk in northwestern Oklahoma and southern Kansas. So it all starts tonight. So let's bring up. I'll bring up the radar and take a look at what's going on at the moment. So we'll just give it a second here to load. I'm trying to keep as few windows open as possible so that it doesn't overload, and we can keep the stream going as smooth as we can. Here's the did we get
SBC,
that?
by the way, has 8,120,459 individuals in the moderate zone tomorrow. That's basically it's the population of New York City, of course, spread out over a much larger geographic area. But that's how many people potentially will be affected by severe weather and possibly even tornadic activity tomorrow. So that's a pretty large area to talk about. And they can't say, Joe, they being the people who live in Northeast Louisiana, Eastern Arkansas, most of northern and central Alabama and Mississippi, and that southwest corner of Tennessee. They can't say, at least I hope they won't be able to say, oh, we weren't warned about this or we weren't expecting this, because I'm sure that if you were down there, this has to local newscast tonight.
Oh yeah.
All of those regions, because this, by tomorrow night, we might be looking at the results, and they may not be very pretty.
The radar right now in the area where we have severe weather looks like it hasn't really fired up yet. So this might be stuff that starts to fire up overnight and into tomorrow morning. There is some rain and some heavier downpours running through a couple of areas in Mississippi, central Alabama, and then of course I've been in some of this today that you see over in Georgia, and there's been some rain also extending into North Carolina. Meanwhile, again, how remarkable that storm just basically just completely fell apart, and what's left of it are these little stretches of radar echoes in the Northeast. And by the way, I can see the one that your daughter was talking about. There's one solid blotch of stuff north of Poughkeepsie that's moving to the southeast, and we also have a little bit of snow further north up in upstate New York, extending down into southern Vermont and into central Massachusetts. Most of this is on the light side. And that really is about it with regards to precip going on in the Northeast.
Right, and one of our people on the chat board was asking about the possibility of hail tomorrow. Are we going to see any hail out of this? And certainly that is in the cards. In fact, from what I can see here on the SBC page tomorrow, 30% chance of large hail, along with the threat of tornadic activity at 15%. So it's the kitchen sink, so to speak. Everything but the kitchen sink in terms of wind, in terms of possible hail, in terms of possible tornadic activity. So it's going to be a real action-packed, rock'em sock'em kind of day. It looks like tomorrow down over the deep south with this system moving on through.
Here's the upper low showing up pretty well here, spinning away. This is the second upper low. Of course, the first one, what's left of storm, part of it's kind of sitting up in Minnesota, not really doing very much. And the other piece is what's moving through the east right now. But you can see the Gulf inflow here and the tropical inflow that's coming up out of the Pacific, but particularly from the Western Gulf and then and going into the Southern Plains. And you're starting to see some of that queue building up right in here that's moving east. There's also the rain area that we pointed out with a few embedded thunderstorms. It's probably why SPC has that risk area the way it has it for tonight. Those clouds are blowing up as well in an east-west fashion and kind of sliding to the east. So it really is, you're going to wait for this upper low to come out and then start to move to the east and east-northeast. And that's going to really fire things up. You're probably going to see temperatures tomorrow. I'm going to just take a look. Let's see if I can get the map to work. I couldn't get it to work before. The Weather Service was having some problems here with their digital forecast map. Let me see what happens if I try and give it a quick refresh. Sometimes it'll bring it back. So I want to take a look at what the high temperatures are going to be. Yeah, and this is how, bless you. Rolling. Come on. So this is for Tuesday. So let's go to Wednesday. Into the south. Look at these temperatures. They're starting to pop up. Let the map fill in. But from what you can see so far, looking at 80s, pushing up into northern Mississippi, mid and upper 70s through Alabama, low 80s as you go further to the south. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty solid stuff here in terms of the very warm air that is from coastal Texas and then on up through Louisiana and into Mississippi. You've got 70s pushing almost up to the Kentucky state line. So this is definitely very good, warm, very solid, I should say, warm tropical inflow. And I just we'll pull up the dew points, see what they look like. If they would just come up. Don't you love technology? Technology, Joe, technology, as you like to say.
Please, I've said this enough times. You know what's going to ruin our culture? Bluetooth.
Yeah, you've discovered Bluetooth.
Everything is. I mean, something happened upstairs a little while ago, and so Renata said, get me the vacuum cleaner. And of course, it's not the vacuum cleaner that you and I grew up with. It's one of these
automated
weird
ones.
Looking. No, it's not an automated one, but I mean, it looks, looks like a pipe with a bag attached to it. And I'm trying to untangle and unravel the plug to plug it in. And I'm saying, does this work on Bluetooth too? I mean, is there,
Everything works on Bluetooth. I got the dew point map off the GFS. Dew points all through the south, climbing up to the upper 60s to around 70. But also take a look at, you also have to look, when you look at these situations, you got to look at what's going on basically on the west side of the upper low and the cold front, because you're seeing dew points dropping down into the 40s and 30s and 20s across Texas. So that's telling you, that's a pretty solid push here. To have those dew points fly as high as the upper 60s to around 70, and then as that low moves east and the cold front swings east, where you've got a very, very strong push of cold, dry air behind it. So the table's set, and even just watching the colors here, which represent the isotherms, you see the impressive swirl. The signature is going to show up really well on the satellite and radar tomorrow night into Thursday, as that low moves on out to the east. And meanwhile, I'll put up the 2-meter temperatures. And we'll take a look at, you can see it from that perspective as well. So here we go. So let me just roll back here. So here are your 2-meter temperatures. And again, so you're seeing.
Oh, I love it. I love Bill Rogers. Bill Rogers on the chat board. He says, Joe Rayo, what does Bluetooth mean?
Oh, good Lord.
It's somebody after my own heart. Somebody after my own heart. Bill, let me ask a question to Bill Rogers. Bill, do you still use a rotary phone, Bill?
I think the answer to that is likely to be yes. Don't you think?
Oh dear me.
Uh,
Oh God.
yeah, so
Yeah. Well, that's, we'll see.
here are your
Anyway,
temperatures
so
for
you've got.
tomorrow with 80s, 70s, and 80s across the south. And then for the severe weather risk on Thursday, you're seeing 60s and 70s pushing up through the Carolinas and even some upper 70s and low 80s in the southernmost Georgia, northern Florida, and 70s even up into West Virginia. So that kind of tells you where the low is going. The actual surface low is going to track across the lower Ohio Valley, and of course up by in the Northeast, where temperatures are going to be mostly in the low to mid 40s. It looks like a solid rain. But here comes the cold air for Thursday night into Friday morning. And the freezing line, Joe, by Friday morning on the GFS is running right across Long Island Sound into northern New Jersey. And then, of course, after that, it's long gone. So it really is a race. You've got an upper trough that's swinging down in the eastern part of the United States to pull down this cold air. If it gets in fast enough, you'll see a changeover to snow before it ends. But it's kind of dicey the way it's set up already. So if it's a little, even an hour or two slower, you're going to wind up with the briefest of changeovers before it all ends. Again, I'm not really, I'm just not really too impressed by all of this.
Will anything impress you anymore, Mr. Chiaffi?
No, we're at the end of the winter and the beginning of the spring. This is kind of where my head's at right now. But there's how the model is playing this out. The European is not that much different, by the way. If anything, the European has um, less in the way of snow, where the GFS has this sort of northern edge band here that runs from southern Maine across to upstate New York. This is at 1 a.m. on Friday. So Bill Rogers, you'll see some snow there to figure out what Bluetooth. Get a Bluetooth shovel to clean out your driveway, and then of course the low pulls away. The radar looks somewhat bullish here Friday morning. I just tend to think it's probably a little bit overdone, and then it'll move on out. Looks like we'll have chilly weather for Friday and Saturday, but I think we may start a warm up beginning on Sunday. What do you think about that, Mr. Rayo?
Oh, no, absolutely, absolutely. In fact, I've got for the Hudson Valley, temperature wise, for Friday, maybe getting to 40, but then I jump it up to 48 on Saturday, 58 on Sunday, and at or above 60 for Monday and Tuesday of next week. So, very apropos. The last full day of winter on Friday may very well see a touch of snow, cloud-filled skies, temps struggling to make it out of the 30s. We also mentioned, Joe, the gusty, strong, blustery north-northeast wind that'll be blowing on Friday, making that 40-degree or near 40 temperature feel more like the 20s to around 30. And then when spring arrives officially at 5:37 a.m. astronomically on Saturday morning, look what happens. The sun comes out. It's going to be a bright, sunny, glorious Saturday. Temps well up into the 40s. We tack 10 degrees onto that for Sunday, and maybe we'll hit or go into the 60s for Monday and Tuesday of next week. So by all means, get ready for a real touch of spring after we go through the speed bump of cold weather, blustery weather, possibly a touch of snowy weather on Friday.
My only concern for Monday and Tuesday is that there's not a strong west southwest flow. The high is just to the east, so that might mean, at least for coastal areas, that there might be a southeast or a south wind that'll hold the temperatures down. But in terms of the upper air pattern, we are seeing, here's your upper low on Thursday night, Friday, and this trough in the east. And this is ultimately right here. It's all stretched out northeast, southwest in positively tilted fashion. There's no block. It lifts out. Ridge builds into the eastern part of the United States. There's kind of a little lagging troughiness off the southeast coast of the U.S. And again, that'll position the high in a place where there might be some south wind issues off the water, where it'll keep temperatures cooler along coastal areas. But I think inland areas should warm up. And then as we swing this around, Joe, I'm kind of looking at this. There's a cutoff that forms near Bermuda. The flow stays mainly southwest. Canada is shut off. All the cold air is pulled up into northern Canada. So yeah, I mean, I think at least the first half of next week should be on the mild side. The only thing is, as we get into the middle of next week, there is some energy in the Great Lakes down into the middle Mississippi Valley with another trough and upper low, and that'll probably mean eventually that we will get into some showers later next week. And there's another trough that follows right behind it, and then there's another one that tries to dive in behind that one. So um, we've got some nice spring-like weather maybe for the first part of next week, and then some wet weather that we'll have to deal with. But truthfully, we really need that rain, considering how quiet it has been. We've already had two stretches where we had potential brush fire issues. So a little bit of rain will do us some good, I think.
It would. We're certainly going to get our fair share. Looks like at least an inch, maybe a couple of inches on Thursday into Thursday night before that cold air arrives and possibly change the end to a little bit of snow. But next week doesn't look like much in the way of precipitation at all. In fact, we may go through a long stretch with just sunshine and dry weather. Hopefully, after well, maybe
I'm,
not
th-
this weekend, but
I'm,
next
th- I'm
weekend,
thinking middle to
we'll
latter
change back
part.
to a
No, I was going to say, I'm thinking the middle or latter part of next week, we could wind up maybe with some showers with another cold front if it approaches. Because I mean, there is energy
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So
Well, you're right. But we can use that moisture because um, almost half the country, believe it or not, is in drought. I mentioned the other day that 2 years ago, only about 10 or 11% of the country had serious drought issues, and now that's grown. And most of the drought now is over in the western half of the country. Although I suspect that once we get melting and runoff from that big storm over the weekend out in Colorado and Nebraska and Wyoming, that we'll see a pretty sizable dent in that drought situation out there. But here in the east, it's not bad. We there are a few spotty areas of dry conditions, upstate New York, parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, and hopefully we will not see that become enhanced or intensify in the weeks and months to come as we move through spring and on into the summer.
WPC on their rainfall over the next 7 days is indicating they got us in. By the way, this takes us through next Wednesday to next Tuesday night. I'm sorry. They have, I mean, they have an inch and a quarter to an inch and a half of liquid here, Joe, for southeastern Pennsylvania across New Jersey and just touching the south shore of Long Island. Uh, that's got to be with the system for Thursday into Friday because there isn't anything that follows after that in this time frame. Heavy precip in the middle Mississippi Valley. You see there some 3 to 5 inch amounts being indicated there. Also across the deep south, and all of this is going to come with the thunderstorms for tomorrow. So obviously some areas are going to wind up with more. The west also getting some heavy rains from central California northward up the west coast, just some scattered activity probably in southern California. The northern Rockies are busy. The central Rockies are busy. And by the way, WPC, just want to show you the 72-hour probability of less than of 2 inches or more. Uh, WPC is not impressed with the system for Thursday into Friday because if you look at what they're forecasting here, it isn't really very much in terms of probability. They have a 5% chance down to northern New Jersey and the Hudson Valley and into western Connecticut, and only over the Catskills where they have a kind of a bullseye of 30 to 40%. And just to check out the rest of the country, meaning that Colorado was hit so hard with the snows, this next round is going to be more south. So Denver's kind of out of it on this one. Northeastern Colorado and southeastern Wyoming got hit. North central Colorado, I should say, and southeastern Wyoming got hit hard. This time around, it looks like the heavier snows are going to be more in the southeastern part. I'm just going to put up the 8 inch to see if it's even up there. Do they have an 8 inch? No, they do not. So they're not looking for any big deal here. There's for 4 inches. They have a 80% probability of at least 4 in southeastern Colorado, northeastern New Mexico in a small area. Let me just make sure about the 8. Does the 8 pop up? Nope. Oh yeah, just a couple of, there is some small area of 8-inch probability there. So this is not going to be anything like what just occurred. And as far as the Northeast is concerned, also for Friday morning into Saturday, Joe, they have a 10 to 30% chance in southeastern Massachusetts for the equivalent of 0.25 liquid equivalent of snow and sleet. So they're not looking at this thing for Thursday night and Friday and thinking that there's going to be a problem. I'm really kind of leaning to the idea, to their idea. Plus, I would say that, judging through the overall pattern that's showing up in the long range, I think we could pretty say, I don't see anything. I mean, I really don't see anything that's going to set us up for any kind of late season snowfall going into the last days of March. I just don't see it on the long range.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And in fact, all right, I did maybe a Freudian slip, but maybe it wasn't so Freudian when I said that on Friday morning, Thursday night, Friday morning, this could be the last cheap thrill for the snow lovers. I mean, it's possible that we could see something in April, but the clock now is really ticking down now. And I've often said, I've mentioned it more times than I could count here on this venue, that whenever we get past St. Patrick's Day, and that's of course tomorrow, your chances of seeing a really significant or major snowfall is really time is really running out very quickly. Bill Rogers, by the way, Joe asked if I could share or show the drought map. So I don't know if you
Yeah,
have
go ahead.
allow me to.
I'll give you the
here.
switch. In the meantime, just want to acknowledge David Fuller hitting super chat tonight, and I just think I saw Shelly Man Studios hitting super chat tonight. So thank you for doing that. Joe and I appreciate it greatly. And hang on one second. I just want to let me make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Nope, we got Shelly Man Studios. He says he's not complaining because we had a good winter and it was a good run. I would agree with you, by the way. I think the winter was fair. It was fair. We had a nice solid for snow lovers. You had a 3-week bonanza stretch, and that's and you're finishing. Everybody's finishing with above average snowfall, which at the end of the day is what matters for the snow lovers. And David Fuller also again on super chat. So thank you very much, Joe. Go ahead and share your stuff.
All right. Well, it should be a very latest drought map. It was released just a few days ago, and what it shows you is what I said a little while ago, that the western United States is where all the drought is really occurring. In fact, here, these colors that you see here, and the legend is down there, extreme drought in red, and the very darkest shade is exceptional drought. And that covers, well, it covers a good part of Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, portions of Texas. So that's where it's all happening. Meanwhile, here in the Northeast, yellow is indicating abnormally dry weather, but not something that is in the drought category. Yeah, abnormally dry, and they do outline places in northern sections of New York State and portions of Vermont, New Hampshire, where it's a little bit more than just abnormally dry. It's more like a moderate drought for the moment. And obviously, if we get, let's say, a stretch of a week or 10 days of little or no precipitation, this is only going to be accentuated. We're only going to see more of this. But again, it's not going to be anywhere near in the same category as to what the folks out here are going through. And this is not looking good. You don't want to see this as you move into the final days of winter and into the start of spring, because out in this part of the country, the amount of rain that falls, usually in April, May, June, is not very much. And so we may see this whole area of severe or exceptional drought only expand in the coming days and weeks. But again, the runoff from all the snow that they just had might actually help put a dent in that drought area around Colorado and into Wyoming and Nebraska. But again, it really looks dry out in the western United States right now.
All right. So we saved the chairman's Briller Jeopardy for tonight, as if I remember correctly. Am I remembering correctly?
Right,
Okay, so
right. And I think it had something to do with that.
yes, the category is MASH, and here we go. So in the episode where each cast member was shown dreaming, who woke up Colonel Potter?
Let's see, Colonel Potter was dreaming about being back home as a young boy riding on his horse. And I believe the person who woke him up was Klinger.
And that is correct.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, when asked in an interview, what was Father Mulcahy's favorite way to relax at the 4077?
His favorite way to relax. That had to be the episode with Cleet Roberts, the reporter, the one of those black and white episodes. I don't know, maybe play bingo. I know that they played
Playing, yes, but not bingo. Another game.
Another game.
A card game.
Monopoly?
A card game.
Poker?
Poker, that is correct.
Sure.
In Scully's second appearance on the show, what brought him to the 4077?
I think he was AWOL.
The answer.
And he got.
Go ahead. The answer is on a stretch. Injury on a stretcher.
Injury on a stretcher.
Yes.
But I also think that he got busted. And
maybe on his first appearance, he was busted for being AWOL.
No, because he was a sergeant, and he actually appeared more than once. On one of the episodes, I remember Margaret or Hot Lips had a thing for Sully. So if it wasn't the second, maybe it was the third time he appeared. Anyway, all right. Yes.
How many Dear Blank episodes were there?
Dear Blank episode? You mean like Dear Dad and Dear?
Or a Dear John letter?
Yeah, there were. Hawkeye wrote a few of those, and Klinger wrote one to his Uncle Abdul.
Right.
There weren't too many of them, but I'll say, and then there's one with Father Mulcahy. He wrote his sister, the sister.
Right. Yes.
I'll say 5.
10.
10.
10.
Wow. I didn't think there were that many.
All right. Here's the last question. In the episode where Hawkeye was writing his will, what did he bequeath to Klinger?
Oh, that's not funny. I know what Klinger gave Hawkeye a Life magazine that did a thing about Maine, and he was so happy to get that. So he said, "Oh, come on now." He told Klinger in his will, "You're one of the great scroungers of all time." Oh, I'm drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank on that.
Hey, Kalenaleha, governor of the island, had himself a party one day.
Is that supposed to be a hint?
Hawaii.
Oh, his Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, I figured that
right?
would yeah.
Right. His Hawaiian shirt.
That was a good hint I gave you.
Yes, it was.
It was. It really worked. Now, meanwhile, let me just move the camera so you can see. There's JJ. Hang on. Focus already. I'm trying to get. Why can't I get the angle?
It's a little blurry too, Joe.
Yeah, no, it takes a. There he is. It's kind of on because he's on the edge of the table there, on the floor. There he is.
He's beginning to remind me of Joe, on the Beverly Hillbillies, Old Duke.
Oh, really?
You never saw Old Duke, the Clampett's dog, ever move very much.
No, he didn't. By the way, you should be happy. You inspired me with your your headsets. So I actually ordered a high quality headset with a boom mic attached to it. So and it has all this noise cancellation stuff in it. So I'm hoping
Uh-huh.
that cleans up my audio a little bit here on my end. And it should be here tomorrow. It's supposed to be here. Amazon said it would be here tomorrow evening. So I might have it
Good.
for
And
the
I'll send,
I might have
and
it
if you
for the
have any
show tomorrow night.
and if you have any problems, I'll send Renata over and she can help you with the with the with the
Very nice. By the way, we're 15 likes shy of 100, so if you want to get us up to 100, hit the thumbs up button, folks. Joe and I really appreciate it when we go over 100 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, and you're going to need about 20% of the people that are watching right now to hit the thumbs up button in order to get us there. But no matter. But we
you're doing
appreciate
it
that.
the wrong way.
We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
You're doing it the wrong way.
No, you
Here's
cheerlead.
how you,
No, no, it's too.
here's how you get
I
here's how
want
you
it
get
to be
14
subtle.
likes.
I'm not a showman. It's just like a subtle type of. Well, I'm not like a loud showman.
Do
I don't want a carnival
do
barker here.
do it like Sergeant Carter on Gomer Pyle would do. All right, everyone, I want 14 more likes. Come
Oh,
on, hit the thumbs up button now. Move it, move it, move it.
well, golly, Sarge. Do I think massive weather nerd wants to know? Do I think the SPC will go to a high risk tomorrow? Well, look, all the pieces are there certainly for the moderate risk. I mean, it was really no surprise that they went to a moderate risk. So, if they look at the dew points tomorrow, if the temperatures edge up a couple of degrees over guidance and the dew points can make it up a couple of degrees higher, yeah, why not? They might even put a small area of high risk in there. Wouldn't be a shocker.
The thing is, my question is, how much is the national mainstream media going to pay attention to this? They really should. I personally think that in a case like what we're looking at tomorrow, that should be like the number one story. But again, after they do the usual stuff on COVID and politics and Governor Cuomo and all of this stuff, maybe by about 15 or 20 minutes into the national news, they'll say, "Oh, by the way, thunderstorms occurred in portions of the South today, and there were a couple of tornadoes." We'll be right back.
Right. After these messages. Bill Rogers wants to know if I
After these messages,
Bill, I have a propane, I have a gas fireplace. I actually was thinking of, I've always had a wood fireplace, and the cabin I bought has a gas fireplace. I was thinking of converting it to a wood fireplace, but I have to tell you, it's so easy. I have a remote control that turns the fireplace on. It's so easy. I know it's the lazy way out, but in my defense, I I split my own wood. I used to go with my truck through the neighborhood looking for downed trees and brought the wood home, and I hand splitted my own wood for many years. I don't know, 20 or 30 cords. So there was after Hurricane Sandy, I actually split and stacked 11 cords of firewood that lasted me about 4 winters. So I have an
I
excuse if I
remember that.
decide to go to a gas fireplace and not bother with the wood. But I do like a wood fireplace. I like the smell of wood.
Joe, we're five shy of 100. Five shy.
5 shy, yes,
Five. Just
just
five. That's all
five.
we need is five more hits. Just five.
Well,
Oh well.
if
Jacob
we
Bailey. Jacob Bailey on the chat board says we got two tenths of an inch of snow in Binghamton today, and we are now officially over 100. They have had 100.1 inches of snow for the season, including that 40-inch job that they had back in December. And hopefully, he says that's the last snow we will see. Not sure if that's going to be the case, but congratulations on hitting 100. We're still trying to make it at Central Park to 40, and we need 1.4 inches. And it's looking by the day, Joe, that that's going to be very hard to do.
Yeah, it really is. It's going to take we may wind up having to pray for a freak event in early April and a very generous observer to give you that 1.4 that 1.4 inches of snow to get you to the 40. But you know what? 38.6. It wasn't too shabby. Above normal after 2 below normal years. And by the way, that continues the stretch that started in the year 2000. We've only had, this is only the second time in the last 20 years that we've had back-to-back below average years. And only one other year was below average in that whole stretch. So if you want to argue that we're in some sort of long-term cyclical upswing with regards to snow, this year certainly would be supportive of that particular argument. The Joe and Joe Weather Show brought to you by Wholesale Holiday Lighting by, hold on, let me square this all.
That's it. We hit 100.
We hit 100. Okay.
It's the 100 whistle. All right, guys, we hit 100. Turn the auto off.
Good Lord. The Joe and Joe Weather Show brought to you by Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini, your complete holiday lighting specialist, meeting all your decorating needs. Plan ahead for the next holiday season by calling Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini at 631-957-5106. They are located at 162 Ocean Avenue in Lindenhurst on Long Island. And the website is liholidaylighting.com. And when you get your plans set for your holiday lighting, you head over to Omni True Value Hardware, which is not that, just blocks away at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon to get your mulch, your topsoil, your gravel, and everything else you need to get your yard in order for spring. Or if this is your business, if you're a landscaper and you need to pick up stuff for the yards you do, head over to Omni at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue. The website is omnitruevalue.com. So that I think that wraps up the Joe and Joe show for tonight. There we go.
I do believe so. Tomorrow we'll find out the aftermath of whatever. Who knows, Joe? You may actually be doing a live outside with thunder and severe weather, with JJ at your side.
The timing from what I saw on the models for me though is going to be more like late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. So.
Oh well, I'm sure you'll wake us all up, Joe. We'll have a special at 2 a.m.
Oh, speaking of waking up, let's see. He just woke up.
Oh,
I'm trying to
it must have been the air raid. Must have been the air raid siren.
JJ. There he is. My camera's, takes if I move it around, there he goes. Now he's giving me a bath and he's wagging his tail. I think he wants his walk. He didn't get a chance to chase any squirrels today, so he's all wound up. I got to run this dog because we walk 5 miles a day. So this is the first time, and this is the first day in the last 8 days that we haven't gone on a walk. So I got to take him out. So everybody have a great night. Thanks for being here and putting up with the both of us. And we'll see you tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern Time.